CNP featured research. This is your Diet Mental Health Break number 12. Brought to you by the Center for Nutritional Psychology. 2 minutes to learn and be good to yourself. Are hunger cues learned in childhood? People have long believed that we feel hungry when our body needs energy, and that when our body lacks certain nutrients, it produces certain signals that reach our brain, which creates the feeling of hunger we experience. This is theorized to motivate us to seek food and eat it, and replace this sensation of hunger with the pleasant feeling of satiety or fullness. This process is called homeostatic hunger. Research, however, indicates that we can learn when and where to feel hungry and under what conditions. In fact, both humans and animals can learn how to feel hungry without any link to the body's energy needs. This is partly because the amount of energy and other nutrients gained from a single meal is negligible compared to the body's total nutrient stores. Scientists now speak about two processes of hunger. One is called homeostatic hunger, the other is called appetite. Homeostatic hunger is the hunger we feel because our body lacks nutrients. It's called homeostatic because it keeps the levels of nutrients available to our body at levels needed for optimal functioning. Appetite arises from the associations we learn between cues for food and their consequences. For example, we see chocolate or think about having a chocolate cake for dessert, and suddenly we develop an appetite for it because we know that if we eat it, we'll experience pleasant feelings from its sweet and pleasurable taste. But how much of our everyday feelings of hunger are related to appetite, and how much are from homeostatic hunger? Study author Richard Stevenson and his colleagues believe that humans might be learning internal sensations from their body they interpret as hungers from their primary caregivers. This might be happening in the weaning period and onward. The weaning period is when caregivers gradually introduce the baby to non-milk foods. If hunger is indeed learned in childhood, we could expect a similarity between offspring and their caregivers in how they interpret bodily signals as hunger. In this study, the researchers surveyed 111 pairs of first-year psychology students and their primary caregivers who cared for the students as children. Both completed a 30-minute online survey directly before consuming a main meal. The survey asked how much students and their caregivers interpret different bodily sensations as hunger, their beliefs about hunger, and their eating attitudes. Offspring and their caregivers indeed had similar patterns of responses. This was particularly visible when offspring showed dietary patterns that were not quite usual. For example, when offspring believed in homeostatic hunger, their caregiver was likely to hold similar beliefs. It was the same when the offspring was prone to uncontrolled eating or when the caregiver had a greater body mass index. Overall, the study supported the hypothesis that hunger sensations, and what we do about them, might indeed be something we learn in childhood from our caregivers. These findings show us that it might be possible to prevent the development of eating disorders by finding a way to positively influence what current and future children learn about interpreting and dealing with hunger. We thank Richard J. Stevenson and his colleagues for conducting this informative research. This Diet Mental Health Break is brought to you by the Center for Nutritional Psychology, CNP.